Hello there guys, I am Wolf Plays Games here and I am with another video, and today I am talking about a show that I absolutely love, but then again you don't have to if you don't want to. The show that I'm talking about is of course Rick and Morty. Now specifically I want to talk about one thing, mainly because I've seen a lot of people talking about it and I want to talk about it because it's an awesome thing to talk about. So, the thing I want to talk about is, of course, Evil Morty, or as some people like to call him, Eye Patch Morty, or the Rickest Morty, which, I don't know. But I just call him Evil Morty mainly because that's his main, name that they put for him. So, yeah, we'll just stick with that. So basically, Evil Morty is a Morty that we see in Season 1. Obviously there's going to be spoilers in this, so I forgot to mention that at the start. But we saw Evil Morty in Season 1, the very last episode of Season 1, I believe. Oh no, I believe it was the second last episode. Oh no, the third. Oh no, I don't know. It was episode 10, I believe, of Season 1 that we first encounter Evil Morty. And as you can tell, we also got Evil Rick with him. And you're probably wondering, oh yeah, it's just, what's so important about an Evil Morty? We all saw that coming, didn't we? No. No. See, what the thing here is if you have watched this episode, you'll realize that Evil Morty was controlling Rick. Well, the evil Rick. So that means that Evil Morty has the intelligence of a Rick, but he puts that aside and hides that, and he hides the fact that he's got the brains of a Rick because of the fact he doesn't want our Rick and Morty to find out. Now I don't know if that's true necessarily, if he doesn't want them to find out or if he just doesn't care, but I mean, the way it's going, it looks like he doesn't want people to know. But yeah, for instance, when Morty said about getting all the Mortys out of there, Evil Morty said there's no point. Now, who in the right mind would say that? Actually, let me rephrase that, what I just said. Whichever Morty would ever say that. Morty's, sure, they bow down to Rick's, but they're not that obedient of him. Surely, they're not that obedient with Rick. He doesn't control them, but yet Evil Morty says that, and our Morty doesn't understand. He is questionable about it, but he doesn't understand. And then, of course, because of that, Evil Morty has found, I guess you could say, the Rick that, I don't want to say the Rick that abandoned him, but definitely the Rick that betrayed him. And so, yeah, so some of the theories that I have sort of read up about on the Rick and Morty show and about Evil Morty is that Evil Morty, people say, was Rick's original Morty. Now the reason why I don't really believe that is mainly because I don't believe that that's necessarily accurate with the way we're thinking, because I feel like Rick made Evil Morty as a dummy. He made Evil Morty because he wanted to have someone to work on. Because he obviously loves to do experiments on everything, including people. So why not make a sort of replica of his grandson? And you're probably wondering, well, that doesn't make sense because Morty wasn't born when he was around, and he left and he hadn't been back for 20 years, and Morty's 14 in Season 1, so it wouldn't make sense. But when you think about it, they're different dimensions with different timelines, so why couldn't Rick just go back and find a timeline where Morty was born and take him? Which would mean that even Morty isn't our original Morty. He took that Morty from another dimension. Which then means... Which then obviously means that that's sort of why Evil Morty sort of hates Rick. Rick. And it also explains why he isn't so chummy with Morty. He's envious of the fact that Morty has got everything that he could want. He's got his family, he didn't have to leave them. He didn't have to do any of that. Whereas Evil Morty had to leave everything behind. Probably thinking, oh, this is a stupid rumor. It's not. That's literally what I believe has happened. And that's why I think Evil Morty does not like Rick, and why I think he isn't too inclined into having Morty around. He doesn't want Morty to live. Because if Morty lives, then he was literally just a experimental sidekick. And he doesn't want to admit that. No one would. And so, of course, he also wants to take over Morty's family, because Rick stole his. And so, we have, that's the first theory. The second theory is that, Evil Morty is, Rick betrayed Evil Morty, or that Rick isn't basically what they're saying is the Rick that we see in the show is not actually our original Rick. But I don't believe that either. Mainly because of the fact that he doesn't go to the Citadel with all the other Ricks. But B, because if this were to be a thing, let me just say that it would be impossible for Rick to actually have Evil Morty as his Morty. Because when you talk about brainwaves and mixing, it wouldn't make sense. Because Evil Morty is as smart as a Rick. Which would mean that Rick is saying, basically Morty can't be Rick's. Evil Morty can't be Rick's original Morty. Because that wouldn't make sense. And so we can conclude from that, of course, our Morty is the original Morty, but also our Rick is the original Rick. So what does that mean for Evil Morty? Now, in my belief, I believe Evil Morty is from another dimension where, Beth had her child, and Rick basically came and was like, yank mine, sorry bitch. But yeah, he basically I believe he stole Evil Morty and, raised him as his, sidekick. Because as you know, we have pictures of him holding baby Morty in the episode where Morty is talking to Bird Person at Bird Person's house, and they're trying to get rid of the evil heads. So yeah. So you can tell that, in circumstances, I believe yes, Rick stole Evil Morty, but I don't believe that's why Evil Morty hates him. Yes, that could be a contribution to it, but I don't believe that's the reason why he hates Rick so much. I think the reason why he hates Rick is because of the fact that Rick lied to him, I believe. I'm assuming that Rick lied to him about, saying that he didn't have a family? Or something like that. I don't know, personally. I wish I did. I wish we'd get season 4 and see more Evil Morty, but I can't do that yet. But yeah, so I really just want to find out the backstory of this, because I feel like, especially Also, spoiler alert, I'm going into season 3 territory. But in season 3, we saw Evil Morty take over the Citadel. He basically became the one true president of the Citadel, which means that he now has control over Rick's and Morty's. Now, I can understand him wanting control over Rick's. He hates Rick's. But Morty's, that doesn't make sense. So, we can conclude that he's trying to build up some sort of army. Because he wants... Ow! Fuck! He wants Rick's and Morty's to hate each other. Because deep down, he knows that's how it has to happen. Oh, Jesus Christ, Skelly Frank! So deep down, even Morty knows that to get rid of Rick's, he needs the support of Morty's. Because Morty's are brave in their own sense. They're smart in their own sense. But even so, they basically Rick's outnumber them and just outsmart them in general. So like, even Morty, he can't do it alone. I mean, he's only one Morty, and yeah, he's as smart as a Rick, but that doesn't mean that he can do it on his own. And now, for another conspiracy that I want to debunk, mainly because I hate this one, but people have been saying about how Doofus Rick could be Evil Morty's Rick. Now, I want to point out how stupid that sounds, but it's, I'm not trying to judge, but yeah. Basically, I don't believe in this theory mainly because of the fact that Doofus Rick isn't necessarily how he seems. Doofus Rick is actually smart, which wouldn't correlate with Evil Morty at all, because Evil Morty is smart, so then their brainwaves he wouldn't be able to hide the Rick. So clearly, obviously they're not, in the same situation, basically. He is not Evil Morty's Rick. Whereas we had another showing in season 3, in said same episode as President Morty, where we see all the Mortys in the school. There was one Rick who basically was he was as dumb as a Morty. Now I want to emphasize, with this episode, they basically were trying to make it so that people didn't necessarily see this, but they wanted people to sort of, over time, get it. They wanted people to sort of work for this sort of thing. So they didn't tell anyone, about that, they didn't emphasize on that. They didn't, have, a giant firework display with it. No. What they did was they basically just took a bunch of information that we needed and then just sort of worked. Ow. So yeah, and it was, like I said, pretty cool. It was a very small detail, but even so, the smallest of details is, the way they do it makes the details even bigger, which, they like to hide things in other things. Because as you know, most people were focused on Evil Morty in that episode. They didn't care about any of the Ricks. But yet, I was one of the first, I know in my friend group, I was one of the first people to notice that. And, it stood out. It didn't stand out very well, but it was there that you could see. And that's why I believe that's actually Evil Morty's Rick. Because it makes sense, because then their brainwaves would cloak each other's. So, because Evil Morty is basically the rickiest Morty there is. And Tall Morty is the basically the mortiest Rick of them all. Also, I'm gonna stop calling him Tall Morty. Literally, the teacher Rick called him Dumb Morty? No, Dumb Rick, sorry. So, but he also called him Tall Rick, so. But yeah, it was a good, like, that's a pretty good hint. I'd like to point that out. But I would also like to point out to the fact that that's not confirmed. I'm just saying, like, you could go rewatch the episode a million times and you probably still wouldn't really understand. I know for a fact when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that sort of makes sense. And then as I thought about it, I realized that it does in a certain way, but you're asking a lot for it to actually be true. So, yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, comment down below if you believe in any of these theories and which one do you believe in the most. Also comment down if you have any more Rick and Morty conspiracy theories, especially about Evil Morty. I'd love to find more about Evil Morty. So yeah. But yeah, I just really want to find more out about Evil Morty and like the Ricks and just basically all that. And I also want to find out what some theories are about Tammy and Phoenix person. Like, mainly where they are. Or what they might be planning. So, if you have any, like, more things that you want me to discuss, leave it in the comments. I'll eventually feature it in another video. So, also, hit that notification bell for shoutouts. And yeah, see you later.